James, it's me in the man's cave. I'm wearing my non-binary t-shirt. There we go. It's got kitties on it. I love it. Happy Pride. This is going to annoy a lot of people because like I said in one of my other videos, I'm kind of woke, but I'm pro-dep, so that's going to really annoy a lot of people. But the thing I wanted to say is that I think I said this before in one of my other videos, that when I was watching the trial, and yes, I did watch the trial, so I can make hopefully an informed decision, opinion on this, but when I was listening to Amber Heard kicking off, and I said that it was really traumatising for me and really triggering, I wasn't joking, because that was the way my mum used to talk to my dad. But I've got another confession to make, and this is going to make me look really bad, but I don't care. There's first of all, I just want to say that if I'm on the wrong side of history by supporting Johnny Depp, I don't really care. My ego and my career and my public standing isn't that great. You know, I've got nothing to lose by saying that I think that men can be victims too, and I do think that Johnny Depp was a victim. I'm sorry about that. If you want to unsubscribe, do so. You know, it makes no skin off my nose. But the thing is that and this is really hard for me to talk about because you know, it's painful for me to recollect this. It's painful for me to even think about it, but I did abuse my husband. It's a weight that I've got to carry with me. And he didn't do anything about it at the time. He's such a gentle soul. I mean, he's infuriatingly calm, honestly. But I was watching Einabber sing about Trisha Paytas as well. I thought, right, well, this is the time. This is the time to say my piece, do my confession. There's been a few instances where I did attack my male partner, and I used to punch him on the arm, and have a disagreement, and I would just see red and like get frustrated and think my needs weren't being met, or I don't know. I just thought there was I kind of lost it really, because I couldn't think of any other way to communicate. So I just punch him, and you know, it was my lizard brain kicking in. It was my most primitive action. And like I threw a shot glass at him, and this is the things my mum used to do. And then I come to the realisation that that's really horrible. What the fuck am I doing? Why am I being violent? That's just crap, you know. And I did have therapy, and I'm still working on this, and I find it difficult when I get frustrated. But I know now that I can't just be violent. And if I have got issues, it's probably a me thing. And if my needs aren't being met, that maybe my needs are too much, or I'm just not communicating verbally properly, or I don't know what it is. But I've had therapy since 2000, I had between 2003 and 2006, and then, oh, 2000, no, I've had lots of therapy. But I think, and one of the things that it's made me do is like a kind of breathe. That's like such a cliche. It's like you just breathe. And if I'm feeling overwhelmed now, I'm going to do what Johnny Depp did and just run away, because I can't trust myself. I mean, sometimes I can put a stopper on it, but if I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I just like, I'm sorry, I just can't deal with this. I don't want it to escalate. So I'm going to be the one who just goes and, has a timeout, which is what they do to naughty children, isn't it? Johnny Depp had the self-knowledge to take himself for a timeout. So, I mean, whether you believe that or not, if that's what he did, that's pretty cool, because just escalating things is not good. And I'm glad I never did anything really horrible. But I am messed up, and I own that, and I am really deeply sorry for anything that I did to my other half. Although he probably would just laugh it off now, but now that I've seen all of this come out, I just think, what a fucking cunt I was. Just horrible. I've done a lot of work on myself, like I said, and I really hope that Amber Heard and other people like that, just, it's not funny. It's not a laugh. It's horrible. If the tables were turned, how would you feel? Okay, so Trisha Paytas, she laughs about it too. It's not something to be laughed at. And now I think about it, I feel really sick to my stomach. I think, what a horrible thing to do. Really horrible. I mean, I felt bad afterwards, but didn't feel as bad as I do now. I've got a lot more self-awareness, and I think, God, that was crappy. And I do get frustrated with him, because he's got, I've got ADHD and he's got perfectionism, and sometimes it just comes to a really confusing kind of like battle of wills, and I can't understand what he wants, and he can't understand why I can't do what he wants, and I can't understand why he's not meeting my needs and giving me affection, and he can't understand why I'm not, but physical violence is never the answer. And it takes a lot of work to work out how to sort things out without resorting to that, because it doesn't do anybody any good, really, at the end of the day, to, punch someone or throw shot glasses at them or whatever it is. What I did, but it doesn't solve anything. All it does is just, it makes you feel bad, it makes the other person feel bad, it creates a division, it creates fear, it creates just a horrible toxic environment. And if you can't talk to your other half about what you want from them, then go and talk to a professional and sort it out. Go and talk to someone and say, I'm having trouble with this, and like they won't blame you for it, but they will help you to work out a way that you can deal with situations without having to blindly lash out, because that's the first instinct that you have in your brain. Just to get something in front of that lizard brain and just stop it in its tracks, and just, the fight or flight thing, just to get in there and just slow it down or stop it or communicate with it or something. But it's very hard to do, because You know, I'm a very angry person. I've been a very angry person since I was a kid, and I used to lash out and everything. And yeah, there were difficulties with my life and things like that. But it's not too late to sort it out. You know, you're not a. Everyone says that you're a blank slate, and then when what you has done to you when you were 6 is basically what you're going to be for the rest of your life. That's very Freudian, but doesn't necessarily mean that you can't work on it. It doesn't necessarily it's cast in stone. It's not. You can't wipe the slate clean, but you can write over it and maybe, correct your spelling mistakes. That's kind of like the way I like to think about it. And I don't believe in AA and that. And I kind of think that's pretty cool that Johnny Depp doesn't believe in AA, because a lot of AA is to do with gods and higher powers and things. And I don't think that's. I mean, you can apologise to people, but it's got to come from you. It's not from some kind of like wishy-washy sky daddy. If you're going to be completely have integrity and real, you've got to, if you're going to apologize, you've got to do it from your own soul, and not because some greater power is telling you to do that. I think that's really insincere. So I think that's why a lot of people have trouble with things like AA and stuff like that. I really wish there was like a more secular way of doing it, a more non-shaming way of doing it. If there was a more non-shaming way of addressing substance misuse, then I think more people would be able to be helped. But there is still this kind of like shaming thing, and honestly, like we feel ashamed enough a lot of the time. We don't really need to have that piled onto us. So I think it's kind of like taking accountability is one thing, but you can't take accountability if you're saying there's a sky daddy that you've got to take accountability for. You've got to take accountability for yourself. That's one of the great things about therapy, is like it's on your terms, but it's also making you conscious of what you're doing. And that's the main thing, is you've got to be conscious of what you're doing. You don't go into a confessional, you don't apologize for your, to a god or whatever it is. You apologize to society and own up to what you did. Don't pass it on to any other thing, ethereal thing. Get responsibility and have some mindfulness, and stop these things in their tracks, not because you've been told to, but because you've got another way of doing things. You've got another way out of that horrible, stressful situation that makes you feel like hitting people. There are so many ways in which you can deal with this, and apologize to people who you've hurt, and get close to them by just talking to them. Sometimes they won't want to talk to you, because that's the kind of people that they are, I mean, I know people who are just really, really closed up, and sometimes you feel like the only way to get through to them is to hit them. But that's just inhumane and horrible. And there's ways you can learn to communicate with people who are at a distant, or just too kind, or just want to run away, or whatever it is. You don't have to have conflict. You can have conversation. It doesn't have to be conflict. It's a hard thing to learn, but it's definitely worth doing. And I'm just sad for the horrible things that I've done. And I'm not excusing myself, but you can learn. You can move on. And Amber, you're younger than me. Like, I'm 52. You've got all your life ahead of you. You can learn how to, be a less violent person and not have to lash out on people. You can do that. You've got a choice. You don't think you don't have a choice. because even if you have got personality disorders or whatever it is, you can still have a choice. You can still find ways to step into that violent tendency, that rush of adrenaline, that lizard brain that instantly kicks in and says, I've got to be an animal. I've got to be the most violent creature because that's the only way I can react. You don't have to be like that. There are ways to deal with it. And the problem is with a lot of rich people, I guess they get therapists that are kind of like, because they're getting paid loads of money, they're just pandering to them. And I've had therapists that have been too nice. And I said, look, you're being too nice, show me what I need to know. And I'm not even a rich person, so, you need to find a therapist who's actually going to be firm and yet kind and unconditional regard is what they say. So not necessarily wrong, but these things that you do are unhelpful and, they're not going to benefit you in the long run. So hopefully, you can get yourself sorted out. But you've got to own up and acknowledge what you've done. And I feel really bad now. Like, it just brings back so many horrible things for me that I've done that I'm not proud of now. I really not. Yeah, violence against men is a real thing. Please take it seriously. Because, we're all sweet this and night. There are a lot of cruel women out there. Like I said, I mentioned in another video, Margaret Thatcher, not exactly lovely. So, let's not kind of put men in one box and women in the other. Let's not say all men are evil and all women are lovely and kind and nurturing and helpless dames, It's not like that. We're not witches either, Some of us are just horrible. Some of us are confused. Some of us are messed up. But that's the same with men, or I like to think of myself a non-binary, but basically, for all intents and purposes, I'm a woman. But I identify as a abuser, and hopefully that's not going to happen again. I own up to that, and I'm 5'4.5", and quite small, but quite often it doesn't depend on your physical attributes. It's the hatred and the anger, and the you can do physical things to another person, and they might be too gentle to fight back. So just because they're bigger than you doesn't necessarily mean that they're Incredible Hulk and they're going to smash you into the next wall. It doesn't depend on physical things. So I'd like to just say that it's please don't make it gender. Please don't make it political. Please take accountability of your own anger if you can. I wish you all well. Bye.